Humanity has clearly lost ancient wisdom. Now, how is that possible that an entire species has amnesia? So I look at, the biblical books, and the biblical books talk about like the great flood of Noah. And it seems like many civilizations all around the world talk about a great flood. So perhaps there was a point in time in history where humanity lost a great deal of knowledge, and that is what the great flood actually was. Now, what's some of that knowledge that we lost? We lost knowledge like what justice actually means. See, justice means the right to do something, and unjust means the right not to do something. And if you have the right to do something, that's property. If you don't have the right to do something, it's probably someone else's property. We also lost the fact that, see, in our current civilization, we have this democracy, which means that the government is actually just a figment of our imagination. And therefore, nothing really actually makes sense. When you make things like the government actually be a person, it's quite clear that that person who would be the government would be the king. And once you have the king as the government, now when they take an action, things start to make sense. So, like, for example, the Supreme Court now allows police to pat people down sometimes, depending on, I don't know, who knows what, right? Probable cause, reasonable suspicion, who knows what they say, right? Well, that's not the way law works, right? The way law works is that those police represent His Majesty the King, and His Majesty the King is not allowed to trespass on your rights, just like you're not allowed to trespass on his rights. So we don't need a constitution. What we need is a person who's not allowed to trespass on you. And this is why historically we had kingdoms. And it's only modernly in the last, I don't know how many hundreds of years, that we seem to have started to have all this democracy. And this democracy is wreaking complete havoc on the human soul. I listen to these politicians and the media, and they talk about GDP, GDP, GDP. The only thing the GDP really talks about is like how much labor they're able to get out of humanity. Well, maybe we should start talking about other things too. Long live the king.